grab a beer and pull up a chair. Welcome to the Northwoods Beer Guy podcast. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Northwoods Beer Guy podcast. This week, I am joined once again by Jim.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Yeah, how's it going, man?
Another day in paradise.
There you go. Well, this week, we are actually in the Northwoods.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're out in the elements here. You'll probably hear wind and who knows. You know, it's hard to say what will all be coming around here, but...
when you say Northwoods...
We're in the Northwoods.
We're in the Northwoods.
Yes, exactly. So what better thing to do on a nice day than sit in the woods and have some craft beers, I say.
What else can you do?
Exactly.
You can't do anything better than that.
Exactly. So, Jim, I don't know, we're getting closer to Labor Day.
Yep.
And we have our big beer tasting coming up. And I don't know what
It's almost a religious holiday, I think.
Yeah, it's getting close, I think. Every year we do three of them: Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. And this year we have three categories. We always have three categories, but the categories this year are vanilla beer, 10% ABV or less, basically food inspired beer. So you couldn't have like a chocolate stout, but you could have like a chocolate cake stout or something like that.
Yep.
It can't be an ingredient on that one. It has to be a food. And then wild card. So I don't know.
What can be in a wild card?
Anything. And you can have any kind of beer you want.
Even the ground up fish.
You could. It wouldn't score very well, but you could have that salmon beer.
Did we ever tell that story about the ground up fish?
Probably not. We can get into that as we're doing some tastings here.
Because that is kind of forever etched in your memory. It wasn't in mine, but it was in yours, I think.
That story comes up every beer tasting. We bring that up. I can get into it now. One of the guys that's at all the tastings, he had brought a beer, and the label was all in German. There wasn't any English on the bottle.
Right. Now, this was like in the infant stages of craft beer tasting, right?
Correct. So
you weren't a professional, and you could tell by the writing that it probably wasn't good. You were going to taste anything that was set in front of you.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And I do believe that on that bottle, somewhere written in German, was not for human consumption.
Ooh.
It was
kind of loosely translated?
After we tasted it, yes. And we always have the rule you can't throw out a beer because you're getting a taster glass, or smaller than a taster glass. You can't
or size of a shot.
Yeah. Well, on that beer, it was a dark beer. It looked very promising. And then when you tasted it, it tasted like you took a salmon and ground it up in a blender, poured it in the bottle, and let it sit outside for a while to ferment.
Ooh, wow.
It was horrible.
So are you just saying this, or was that a kind of a...
Oh, no, we actually waived the don't throw the beer out rule for that one.
For the entire... Everybody. And we all pitched it. Is that why there's brown spots that were along the grass here? It killed the grass too?
I think so. I think that's still, whatever it landed on, it didn't grow.
It was almost like Roundup on.
Pretty much. And it was just crazy because, like I said, it looked really good. And the aroma it didn't smell like that. But when you tasted it, boy, and the funniest thing is Tom is the gentleman that brought it.
Yep.
And every beer tasting, we bring it up, because that's etched in everybody's brain. It was so bad.
So that is the bottom.
Oh, yes.
That couldn't have got a worse score. So if it's worse, like everybody's got to get better than a ground up fish.
You would think. But it's funny because he said the one time, he goes, you should be able to defend every beer you ever bring to this tasting. And we said, yep. And he goes, but there's no defending that one. He said, I don't know what was wrong with it. And all I can think, and again, I'm giving that brewery the benefit of the doubt that maybe it was a bad bottle.
Yes.
Because, like I said, it was just amazingly
the
bad.
Most god-awful thing.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, we always joked about that. It said not for human consumption on the bottle, and such. But, it was brutal. And now, luckily, we've never had any other ones that have been that bad.
Right. Well, that person probably wouldn't win at the tasting.
No, you wouldn't have thought so. I've been getting out just a little bit to start looking for some of these. And right now, honestly, I'm finding that like vanilla beers are kind of hard to find a little bit. I've found a number of them that like vanilla is one of the ingredients, but there's a bunch of other stuff. But, Breckenridge has the vanilla porter and things like that. But I'm not finding a whole lot of that yet. Or, I don't know. I got to keep looking. But what have you been seeing?
So I actually been checking. I try to go out there and just do some scouting out, and not always buying things, but just looking around to see what's out there.
Mhm.
And I've noticed that some of the breweries are starting to push a little bit of their Marzens for
Really?
Oktoberfest. So I kind of picked out a couple here. I thought maybe we could do an early. We're definitely not close to October.
Right.
Some of these beers are early, but I thought, well, a lot of people are probably seeing them out there too. So maybe if we just taste them for everybody, let them know maybe what we're seeing. I mean, maybe that might steer them in a direction too. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. That is something I have not seen where they've had like the Oktoberfests out yet, but you found them. Yeah, that's kind of wild. It seems a little early, but maybe, it's just probably because I haven't been looking for them, but yeah, we'll give them a shot. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt, right? I mean, all we can do, we're in the Northwoods, we're camping, we got some craft beer, and now they're Oktoberfest.
So we might as well.
We're wearing shorts.
Yeah.
It's kind of like lederhosen, right?
So yeah, exactly. So we'll just call this our Augustoberfest beer show.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So the first one you gave me here is by Central Waters. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember last week, we had 5 Central Waters stouts, and still, just to refresh everybody's memory, Jim, the Pappy Van Winkle aged stout was the highest beer we've ever rated.
And you still haven't said thank you enough to me for that one.
Well, I do appreciate that.
That was a good beer.
That was a very good beer. And we actually just saw online that they're coming out with 2 more in this anniversary series. So we're going to have to check those out too and see. Because I've got the initial 2 still at my house that we haven't had yet. And then you had those. So this will be like a 6
set of them.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, we just brought that up again because this is the same brewery. And Central Waters does do a lot of different styles of beer and such. And like I said before, they're really known for their barrel-aged stuff as well.
Yes.
So this is their Oktoberfest lager, 5.2% ABV, 15 IBUs. So I'm thinking it's going to be what you would expect for an Oktoberfest, I would guess.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
And so some of this was actually on the can too. So it's easier for us to read now. I put it a little bit.
We got smarter. It only took us 22 episodes to figure out we should print some of this off beforehand. So what it says is, with an enticing bready maltiness characteristic of traditional Marzen-style lagers, Oktoberfest is a radiant amber-colored brew that finishes crisp and clean. Enjoy this fall seasonal as summer turns to autumn and the colors of the Northwoods are ablaze.
All right. Well, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's see if the taste is good.
And it is kind of funny still. I can remember at an Oktoberfest in La Crosse that we were at, then everybody it was the first year they had their craft beer tent. Every brewer there had an Oktoberfest, and it was just crazy to me how different they tasted. I thought it's going to be kind of similar, you know what I mean?
Right.
Real similar and all that, but no, there was just all over
a lot of variation
on what it tastes like. So it's going to be interesting to see what these ones that you found already, what they taste like. So let's crack this one open.
All right.
So the can, it's a white can. It's got their blue normal Central Waters logo. It's got their blue heron, like an outdoor, like a Northwoods scene.
Yep.
Like you're at the lake and such. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's got blue and then kind of your orange. Orangish color for
like autumn.
Yep.
Autumn, October. Yep. Got a good start.
It smells like an Oktoberfest.
Looks like one that's got the color.
Yeah, I mean, it looks promising. And I really do like Oktoberfest beers. Some of them are not as good as others, but, but really, I do like the style. It's a nice style. And you're starting to see more lagers out there now.
Right.
Getting into fall, I think the lagers are kind of kicking in more. Some of the ales are ending for the season. So
getting into more of their seasonal stuff now.
Yes. Yep.
Not much for aroma.
It tastes like
that's pretty good.
Oktoberfest, yeah. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of aroma. There is some, but not.
And the flavor is very mellow. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it's not over
the top.
I was going to say not like a sharp flavor, if that makes sense.
Well, and they try to put in here, it finishes crisp and clean. Mine is, the way it tastes is a little more smooth. It's not sharp.
Right.
If that's what they mean. I mean, to me, it's got a very good flavor, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
this is very, very good.
Yep, I agree with you.
And for 15 IBUs, I think they're spot on. I don't think there's not a lot of hoppiness to it. It's pretty mellow. I mean, if you're one of the initial craft beer drinkers, this would be something I think I'd recommend. And you definitely would get into this. This is not bad at all.
No, I agree.
I think later on, I think we could probably sit around a campfire and have a couple of these.
I agree with you. I think if you've never had an Oktoberfest, this would be a good one to start with because the flavor is a little mellower.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people would enjoy it. So if you haven't tried this one, again, it's the Oktoberfest Lager by Central Waters.
So what are you thinking on stars? Put you in a hard spot right off the bat.
You kind of did because I'm thinking. Well, I'm going to give it a 3.
All right.
I'm going to go 3.0.
Okay, I mean, that seems a little higher than
It's a little, I think overall, I think it's better than average. Than,
Yep.
It is very mellow. I think a lot of people could drink it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good one that we started with, and I gave it a 3.
I think the more I taste it, the more, I like it. I mean, it's definitely a very good beer. I mean, it's not, I don't think I can find anything that's bad about it. I mean, it's, that's the one you struggle because with the way we rate our beers, we're always looking for more flavor. But with a Marzen, that's not part of that style of beer, is flavor. So I think I'm right in the same area where you're at. I think I'm going to go with 3.02 or 3.002. Also, sorry about that. Because I think it's a very good beer. I mean, I don't think there's anything there, what they write, what they taste. I mean, everything is spot on. And the only reason why it's, for me, not higher, it's not a higher ABV. It is 5.2. So that's the only reason for me that I'm keeping it lower like it is.
Because I had initially thought about, okay, do I go with a 2.5 and put it like right in the middle of all the beers? But I think it tastes better than that.
Yep.
I do like the maltiness in it and such. So that's kind of why I kind of went to that 3 level. I think it's a good one. And I think Central Water shows that they can brew a lot of different kinds of beer and do it well.
Yes. So speaking, where are we at right now? I don't think we told everybody out there.
Well, right now we are about 13 miles east of Hayward, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So we are in the heart of the muskie fishing capital of the world.
And are those stripes or are they...
Muskies have stripes.
And Northerns
have spots.
There you go. So both are very aggressive, and what's the key part between Northerns and Muskies that most other fish don't have? Aggressive in their teeth.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
That if most people, if they're not listening, have never fished for either one of those.
They're fun. It's funny. I had saw a news story once out of California, and they were talking about a lake in California that they had it was Northerns that were in it, but the fishermen out there were all fishing for like some other kind of
easy fish,
hoity-toity fish, so to speak, and the Northerns were considered like an invasive species, and they're trying to eradicate them and all because they're more aggressive. So they're either attacking the baits or the other fish and such. So it was just kind of funny. We're here, people come here to fish for that, and of course, the world record for the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame was by Louis Spray, and that was
close by here, right?
Yeah, it was probably from here. That was on the Chippewa flowage, and it was probably 5 miles from here, maybe. From where we're at.
That the same one? Isn't it? Is it a replica that's in town?
There's a replica at another resort that's just down the road from here, and they have a replica also at the Hall of Fame in Hayward. If you've ever seen the big giant muskie, it's you can find it online. You can see it. It's I don't even know how big it is, 100-some foot muskie that you can walk in and such.
But I mean, just to think about catching a fish that's that size on a boat out here, it's just unreal.
Because his muskie was, I think it was a little over 60, like right around 69 pounds. So I mean.
It's almost like catching a small child.
Yeah, or a medium-sized child, yes. And then also the International Game Fish Association, I don't know if it's still the world record, but Cal Johnson caught that. And that actually, the actual mount of that is in Hayward at the Moccasin Bar.
Okay.
And I think his was 64 or 67 pounds? Wow. So I mean, it's just unbelievable to see these fish. It's like, oh my gosh. So.
And to see them on a wall and then actually see something like that in the water. Or
I wouldn't know what to do.
I mean, who has a net that big to even, how these guys landed it? If I'm not mistaken, weren't they fishing by themselves too?
No. I know Louis Spray was not.
Okay.
He had another gentleman with him. And he actually, the reason there's the two different, Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame recognizes fish that were shot. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So Louis Spray and the other gentleman that he was with, they actually shot the fish before they landed. They're so big, you bring them in the boat and they'll destroy your boat.
Right.
Where Cal Johnson did not. I think he beached his.
Okay.
So he didn't shoot it. So that's why there's
different ones.
Yeah.
But either way you look at it, they're big fish.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that would take, because I think the other part is you got to make sure you got the right line, the right lure. Because that muskie that big is going to do damage.
You're going to be in for a fight for a while, I would think. I've never caught anything. Well, I shouldn't say that. My wife and I went white sturgeon fishing in British Columbia probably 10 years ago. That one, the first one I caught was 6 feet 5 inches long.
Wow.
That was crazy. but they don't have the teeth and all that. Like,
are they as aggressive either?
no, you basically, you're fishing on the bottom, and they're like a bottom feeder kind of thing. And it was really cool though, because you'd scan the fish, and if it had been tagged, a number popped up. If it wasn't, they'd tag it and log it in, where you could go online and see, after that, how many times that fish had been caught and such. So that was really a cool deal.
Wow.
But I wouldn't know what to do if I had a muskie that size, because like you said, they're aggressive, they're kind of scary with their teeth, and all that. And
especially if you're going either bass fishing or walleye fishing, and all of a sudden you snag one of those, that really changes your whole perspective on fishing.
Exactly.
All right, well, what do we got next? What's on the...
So which one do we have? We have Hop and Barrel Brewing Oktoberfest, 6.03%.
Ooh.
Doesn't say on there about IBUs or anything.
No, I looked on that one too. I didn't find anything for that.
Yeah. Okay. And it says summer isn't over, but the Hop Kaiser doesn't give a Scheiße.
Oh, there you go. Nice German.
Yeah. He's taking a break from the great hop war to drink a nice fat German-style lager. So throw away your Haze Bra and drink up. Prost.
Wow. Well,
and this, this is kind of cool, because the can does have kind of that blue and white Oktoberfesty plaid kind of look to it. And it's definitely got a German guy with one of the...
It's like a World War II guy?
Helmet with the spike on the top.
Or World War I, I mean.
Yes.
World War I.
Big mustache, a monocle. Well, let's check this bad boy out.
All right.
So it'll be interesting to see the difference from the really smooth one, and we'll see how this one compares.
Yeah, it's starting out good. I think the color's a little bit darker.
Yeah, it's
darker orange.
It almost looks darker, doesn't it?
But it still has a good head on it. I mean, nice foamy head.
It does have that classic Oktoberfest color.
Yes. I mean, it looks orange. I don't know if it's because of the top here, but it looks definitely dark orange.
This one, again, the aroma is pretty mellow.
Well, that one you can taste, it's got a little more flavor than the first one.
It's a little sharper flavor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to call it sharp, but you know what I'm saying? It's like a
little more distinct.
Yeah, there you go. It's a stronger flavor. Maybe.
Yes. We couldn't find IBUs, but I think this is definitely in the 20 range.
It's got to be. Because it does seem like it's got a little more.
It's not bad though, by any means. But I mean, this has a little more flavor than that first one.
Yep.
But they're both very drinkable.
For sure. Yeah.
Again, it's hard to pick out. I think we're going to be cutting hairs with all of these in this class that we have today.
Yep.
I think the two things I see is this one's a little darker color, a little bit sharper in flavor.
Yep.
Not bad things.
No, not at all.
But just to distinguish the two. Yep. So far for me.
Yep, I agree with you. Like I said, this one, the flavor definitely it's not as subtle as the Central Waters. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right. And I think, so like, if you put it in the perspective, I could probably drink 2 of the Central Waters. I might be only drink 1 of this. I mean, just because of the flavor. I mean, but it has good flavor. It's not bad flavor. It's just a little stronger flavor.
I would agree. What you just said there, I would agree with you. I think this one, if you asked me, like, especially now after we've tried them both, which one would I prefer to have? I would probably go with the Central Waters first, just because it's a little more mellow.
Right.
This one does have a little, like I said, just that little bit more of a, not really a bitey flavor, but it's got more.
I would say, to me, this sounds...
I apologize. I had to pause for a minute. There was a bee flying on. I tried to hit it with my electrified tennis racket, and it didn't do anything. So go ahead.
I think this one, to me, it tastes a little more crisp. I think, for me, that's the word I would use rather than the first one. I wouldn't say is as crisp, and it's not bad by any means. It's just how I think my taste buds are picking it up.
Yep, I agree with you. So I guess for stars, you start this one out. We've kind of got your thoughts. I guess we can just go right to, what do you think for stars?
Wow, this is a hard one. I think I'm following your footsteps. I like the first one just a little bit better. I'm just going to go with 2.9. Just a step below that first one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 2.8. Okay. I just think, again, like you said, we're kind of splitting hairs a little bit. I just think I do enjoy you threw that at me. I do enjoy kind of that mellow flavor a little bit more, and I do, like you said, I think I could drink more of that one than this one. So,
and I think nothing against Hop and Barrel, nothing against this beer. It's definitely a good Marzen. For me, I just like that little smoother flavor. Yep, I don't know, it's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. And the thing that's kind of neat is the fact that these are out this early. We're going to be able to find other ones to do another Marzen before October, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. And I'll keep looking. I mean, unless you don't want me to keep looking for any. I mean,
oh no, I would never tell you not to look for beers.
Okay. So. All right, well, as long as it's good with you.
Oh yes, I can take that. So yeah, not a problem.
So Mike, I know we're up in the Northwoods right now. Mm-hmm. Where are we at right now as we sit right here? Where are we at? We're by your camper, right?
Yeah.
So we're in a campground resort on a nice lake.
Yep.
And I know we talked about fishing.
Right.
But I mean, this lake is like got some other special meaning for you too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is where you and your wife first came up and
yeah, this is where we got engaged here. And then that would have been in 2000. In 2001, we got married, and we got married September 15th.
Okay.
4 days after 9/11.
Right.
So our honeymoon to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico didn't happen. Because of you couldn't fly.
Right, there's no flights.
You couldn't fly. So we ended up coming up here for our honeymoon.
Okay.
And it was I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of strange because we got up here and there was 2 other campers here.
Okay.
I mean, as far as
people
permanent, yes. After like the second day, I think we were the only 2 here.
Oh wow.
So it was just what I mean. You're like looking around, and because it's late in the season, so like the transient camping, nobody was there, and then the permanents, it was they were during the week, so really there's worked out to where there wasn't anybody here. So it was nice,
right?
Different, for sure. And then
So you've been coming here for over 20.
Yeah, we started coming. Well, we got our site here in 2001.
Okay.
And my wife and her family, they've actually been coming up since the late 60s.
Wow.
And when they were coming up, there was only 1 permanent camper here.
Oh, really?
And now there's, I think, 30, 32, maybe it's 30, around 30.
Okay.
So there was only 1 permanent camper, and the rest was just kind of on a hill in the woods. So,
well, and isn't this how, BK as well, right?
Yes. Yep.
They come up, they've got their family.
They have their camper up here as well. They've been coming up, I think, longer than I'm pretty sure that Brian has been coming up longer than we've been here. But yeah, we've got to know them and
through the camping
and all that, and the love of craft beer. Right. So it's it's a really nice place. And like I said, I do enjoy. We're sitting out on the deck at our bar here by the camper, and you can hear some of the bugs in the chirping and the crackle of the campfire. And
just before we came on the podcast, I mean, just over our shoulder, a doe and a fawn just walked.
A doe and a fawn. It was probably
50 feet, maybe.
I was gonna say maybe 50 feet from us.
They weren't running. They were
just walking and eating and such, and they just kept going. And at some point, you'll probably hear loons because there's loons on the lake, and that's kind of where the inspiration for the opening of podcast came from. Was sitting up here and doing that. So it's
and I think, not to lead it in, but I think isn't this next beer, their brewery, isn't that sign over the lake as well?
Oh yes, yeah. So the next one that Jim brought is Leinenkugel's Oktoberfest, and the resort here has one of those old light up outdoor Leinenkugel signs. And it was funny because for years it never worked.
Right.
And it was just like, okay. And Tom, who's one of the guys in our beer tasting group, he's kind of a jack of all trades. He's a maintenance, fixes anything. And he went down there one day and started looking around and did something. Works. It's worked ever since. So it's really cool.
The way it's over the lake. Because usually you see them by a bar, like over towards the bar, the parking lot. But this one, it's like inviting somebody to come from their boat, pull right up to the lodge.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it just adds something to it when you get down by the lodge. It's dark out, and that light is, that sign is going, and
you hear the loons in the distance.
Yep, and you're in Wisconsin,
right?
So let's look at the numbers here. So the Oktoberfest by Leinenkugels is 5.1 ABV and 20 IBUs. So I bet it's going to be close to like the Hop and Barrel. I would guess.
Right.
Let's see. Their write-up said, our proud German heritage shines through in our homage to arguably the world's greatest festival. A traditional Marzen style beer, our Leinenkugels Oktoberfest has a toasted malt flavor and subtle spicy hop notes that make it perfect for celebrating fall in true German fashion. So let your steins runneth over.
Another good write-up.
Yeah, I do enjoy those.
I think these are some of the better ones for write-ups that we've had.
I think so.
And this is in a 12-ounce bottle. The first 2 were in 12-ounce cans.
And it's got that blue and white look. It doesn't have the checkered.
It almost looks like that's at the lodge right there.
It kind of does, doesn't it? It's got like a lake, and then like the skyline is like the trees and all that, and there's a house or lodge or whatever in there. So I do think it does look like the color is not quite as dark as that Hop and Barrel.
No, it almost looks the same color as that first one from Central Waters.
I will say this: the first 3 definitely have all looked like Oktoberfest,
like Marzen's.
Yes,
the orange hue.
Yep, that amberish orangish type color.
Not much for aroma.
It's got a little bit. It's almost a little not as malty aroma to it.
Right. A little different. I mean, I'm trying to.
There's not a whole lot of flavor.
No, I mean, initial taste on my tongue, it was a little bit different, but it was not. There's not as much flavor as the first two.
No, the first two definitely had more of a malty taste to them, especially the Central Waters did for sure.
I don't think this is 20 IBUs though. I think this would be a little.
This is pretty mellow, pretty mellow, which a Marzen should be.
Right. I definitely think you can drink. You could drink a few of these. I mean, it's not a bad thing. But the flavor, it's not as flavorful as the first two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. You're right. I mean, you could drink several of these. I believe. But I don't know. I guess flavor wise, it's not the same as the other two. Not the same. It's not, like I said, the malty flavor isn't quite there.
Yep. I mean, and it's definitely, again, not bad tasting.
This would be another one that if you've never tried Oktoberfest, you could have a
couple of those. I mean, and I don't think any of those would turn anybody off.
No.
I think
even the Hop and Barrel one really wasn't
bad.
No.
And again, I think we're splitting hairs. I mean, this is early in the season. For me, I think that's definitely probably on the lower end of what we had so far today.
Yep.
I mean, and again, it's hard to remember all the previous Oktoberfest we've ever had.
Right.
Just based on what we had today.
Yep.
But I guess lucky you get the first try at this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2.5 on this one.
Right down the middle.
Right down the middle. It's not offensive. It's not bad at all. But I just think the flavor isn't up to the other two. So I mean, realistically, I think it's an average 2.5.
And the only thing that I'm picking up is the aftertaste, the finish. There's something different about this one. I can't really put my finger on. I don't know if it's the toasted malt.
It could be.
I don't. Whatever. It's not spicy. Like they said it was going to be spicy hop. I don't taste anything spicy. It's just I think whatever it is, it's lingering. Maybe the maltiness on my tongue.
Yep.
It's not a bad flavor, but it's just that's the only thing that's lingering a little bit. I think I'm right there with you. I think I go 2.5. I think it's right there, middle of the road. I think any craft beer drinker could drink this.
Yep. And just looking at the color too, like I said, it is lighter in color than the first two a little bit.
Yes.
So I don't know if that has something to do with the malts or something that they use, but it's just a little bit.
And again, we're splitting hairs.
Yeah.
I mean, none of these first three, none of them are bad. There's nothing bad tasting about them. Just trying to give our perspective.
But see, this is how, when we do have our beer tasting contests up here, this is what we have to do, though, because the categories, a lot of times, we have had an Oktoberfest category before.
Right.
And then that's how you're comparing them, you know. So this is how we've always done it. And I do like the fact, like I said, some of the times on some of them we've done, you get different styles and things like that. So you still compare them, but it's a little bit harder where these are direct comparisons. And I think that's what I do like about doing it this way.
Right. I mean, I think it's good too. I think the listeners, hopefully, I mean, I know we're not getting a lot of comments, but if people would like to shoot us questions too, we can always bring up, try to answer what we thought of these. But all of these they're all good. They're just early in the season right now, and I think maybe later in the season the flavors might change a little bit. I'm not 100%.
You're thinking maybe these are younger.
That's just my opinion. I mean, I don't consider myself a beer connoisseur yet, like you, because I don't have that many tastes in my Untappd. But I'm trying to get up there, and I'm just trying to.
Do you have Untappd?
I think they put it on my phone. I'm not sure how to use it yet.
Well, I'll teach you how to do that.
But at least as long as you're keeping track for me, at least. Then we know.
What else can we talk about on the Northwoods? Hayward, like I said, is the muskie capital of the world, people say. Yep. And they do have some cool festivals in Hayward.
Do they?
Yeah. They've got in June, towards the end of June, they have Muskie Fest, which is the big one. They close down the main streets, and they'll have all sorts of artisan vendors and food and things like that. And then people, back in the day when they did it, if you caught a muskie and you wanted to enter it into the contest, because they have a contest every year for the biggest muskie caught.
Okay.
Well, you would have to bring the muskie in and, weigh it and show it and all that, measure it. Now, they don't do it that way. You have to take a picture and do your measurements. So
they want you to release the fish back.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And it's really you're banking on the fisherman being honest.
Yes.
But I do think that it's it's definitely helped.
Okay.
With the fish where you're not keeping all of these, and then in the fall, the end of September, they have a fall fest, and it's very much the same kind of thing, not with where you're catching muskies and all that, but they have the same thing. They'll close down the main streets. They have all these vendors. They'll have like bands playing, food, all that kind of stuff. So it is really a neat thing. And then of course in the winter, I'm sure you've probably heard of the Birkebeiner.
Oh yeah, that's cross country
ski race. And there was a number of years recently where they couldn't have it because they didn't have enough snow. Where this last year they had it, and hopefully they'll have it again. Because my wife and we've never went to it. We want to come up sometime and watch it because I've heard it's really a kind of a big party.
Right.
But it's a I don't remember how long it is. A pretty long race.
Because doesn't it start and finish here? But it goes out like hundreds of miles, right?
I don't know if it's hundreds of miles, but it's a long ways.
It's not done the same day, though, is it? Or is it all done on the same day?
I think I think it's done the same day, but I don't quote me on that because I've never been to it. I hear people talk about it all the time, and I think it would really be a fun thing as long as the weather is decent.
Well, plus you can't stay at your camper here, so you're gonna have to get.
Well, you could, but you wouldn't have water. You could still plug in for electric and heat and all that kind of stuff.
And hopefully the snow hasn't
if there's a lot of snow because they don't plow up by where we're at here in the campground. But you'd probably want to stay in town.
So what you're saying is that there's a lot of different activities.
Oh, for sure.
So somebody comes up to Hayward, not only is the fishing, but there's stuff in town too.
Yep, it's known for fishing. Of course, in town it's like all sorts of touristy type shops.
Right.
T-shirts and.
But don't they have a brewery too?
Yes, they do. They have Angry Minnow.
Nice.
Angry Minnow in Hayward, and they've been around for a little while. I mean, for a long time now.
Right.
But they've got some good beers, and they can them as well. You can find. I think I found some maybe down by us, but more up here you can find them in pretty much any store. And then the brewery itself is in like a brick building, and it's really neat. You walk in and you look to I think on either side when you walk in, you can see the brewing is like downstairs. They have it open where you can see the big kettles and all that.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a cool place. There's a lot of stuff for people to do and see if you don't have to fish, but that's what more people come here for. But like I said, then in the winter, of course, you got your snowmobile trails, and they do have a lot of
ATV and UTV.
Yes,
UTV trails,
those type of trails too that a lot of people do in the summer. So it really is a neat area, and when you get up here with all the lakes and the trees, it looks like you're in the north.
Yes, and I think I was just trying to watch there was something on TV about the changing colors might be earlier because it was a dry summer.
Yep.
But up here, I think everything is mostly green. There might be one or two trees that look like they might be changing, but...
Right. Well, early on this year, it was really wet up here. They had a lot of snow this winter. And like I had told you earlier that when we first came up in the first part of May to open the camper, the mosquitoes were terrible.
Oh.
The worst that anybody up here's ever remember seeing them. And it's because there was so much water still in the woods from the snow, and then it rained a lot in the spring. But now, we did get some rain over the summer, but it's not as much as typical.
Right.
So
the bugs are gone.
Yes.
And I think that's probably going to help the trees stay greener a little bit longer, too. They won't change into that autumn blaze.
Right.
As soon as what some of them were predicting.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, let's see. So the next one we have is by Lupulin.
Ooh.
Or Lupulin Brewing, and that's their Oktoberfest.
That's from Big Lake, Minnesota. 5.7%
ABV and 30 IBUs.
Might be a little
bit hoppier. Okay. So that'll be an interesting comparison to these other ones.
Yes.
Let's see what they said. They say Marzen or Marzen beer by year is a lager that originated in Bavaria and is the beer style that was traditionally served at Oktoberfest in Germany. What's Klein?
Or kilned.
Oh, there you go. Kilned malts and specialty malts produce a rich, toasty aroma with a sweet flavor, while the traditional lager fermentation produces a clean yeast profile.
Good. Another good write-up.
This one is in like a pint-sized can.
This is a little bit more beer.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting because this is the highest IBU one that we've had. And I do like that can. It's got like a coat of arms on it.
Yes.
The background in there is the blue and white checkered,
like from Germany.
Yep, from Germany. It's got their coat of arms has a couple lions, and then the middle is a hop plant, or the what if you want to call it fruit.
There you go.
Of that, and it says Marzen style lager. So let's see what this one's like.
All right, well, we've been lucky so far. Let's keep it rolling.
That one's got a little more foam to her.
She's coming out the top. Look at that bad boy.
Color wise, it's kind of in between the Oktoberfest and the Oktoberfest, between the Central Waters and the Leinies. It's not quite, a little bit darker,
just a little tinge
darker than the Leinies. It smells like a Oktoberfest.
Yeah, not bad.
That's not bad.
I don't think it's 30 IBUs, so it doesn't.
The finish, I was going to say, you can get a little more on the finish, but no, it's not 30 IBUs. I don't know. That's not bad.
No, I think it'd be lower. I mean, it definitely has a good flavor. I mean, all these four have been really good.
Yeah, that is something.
I don't know. I'm trying to pick out negative things. I'm not able to really.
This one, you almost get that kind of like a caramely type flavor to it
at the finish.
Yeah. Where the other ones, it didn't quite have that, but this one, it definitely has that.
So I wonder if that's either the kiln malt or the specialty malt.
It's got to be one of those, because it's not the hops.
No.
And all the rest of them had malt, different malts, which it's got to be like the specialty.
I mean, I'm just trying to dissect how I would, rate this one, just because it's a little bit different, not a bad different, a good different, but it's just a little. I mean, each one of these does have a different flavor.
Yes.
Other than the Leinies was probably the one that had the weakest flavor, but all of these have a very distinct flavor.
Yep. And it's funny because when I told you about the Oktoberfest we went to, where they were those ones, you didn't. Of course, there's a lot of more breweries there, but you wouldn't believe how different they tasted. I mean, it was night and day on some of them. It was just like
nothing as close as what we're doing.
These ones have been pretty close. Where there it was not, and some of them were not very good there. And that's what I always said. I was like, typically you would think, especially, it's a Marzen. Well, there should be kind of, here's your Marzen. And I know everybody has their own take on it, but I just couldn't believe how different they were. And not that that's a bad thing, but like I said, some of them I pretty much didn't want any more than that.
Little taste of glass, right? Yeah, this is not bad. I mean, do you want me to start off the stars?
Yeah, if you want to.
So this is Lupulin, right?
Yes.
Gosh, I'm struggling, not struggling in a bad way, just struggling trying to differentiate.
Yep.
Because all these are so close. I think I'm going to put it right with the Central Water. I think I'm going to go 3.0.
Okay.
I think they're not. They don't taste the same, but I think they're, for me, a little bit too close to split the hair on. So I don't know. What are you thinking?
Honestly, I was honestly thinking a 3.1.
Okay.
Just because I really do like the Central Waters one, but I think this one just has that little bit more on the finish.
Yes.
That I really kind of like. So I do think the Central Waters one is still a little bit smoother, but this one I feel has a little more flavor, and I think that's kind of what
differentiates
it. Yeah. So I think you're right. I think they're very neck and neck, but I just give this one just that little bit
of a nod.
So cool. Yeah. I guess, one of the other things on the lake here that's cool, we talked about that it's got loons and things like that. We also have a bald eagle nest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And, it is pretty crazy to see how big those things are. When you're out fishing and you've seen the bogs that are out there, and they'll fly out and land on the bogs, or they'll be sitting on a tree. There is a pretty good sized island in the middle of the lake too.
Okay. Yep.
And they sit out there and they just look around and then all of a sudden they take off and they swoop down and catch a fish. It's cool. It's really kind of a patriotic thing, and just to see them, and then when they have a baby each year or however many years it is, if it's every other year, I can't remember what they do, but it's just kind of a neat thing. And I'll tell you, it's nothing more disheartening as when you're out there fishing all day and an eagle flies right by your boat, drops in and catches a fish right next to you
and takes off with it.
Takes off with it. Because you're like, really?
They must have, their eyesight is a lot better, and they're seeing from above and be able to find that fish. And they don't take small minnows either, do they? They're taking pretty good sized fish.
Oh, yeah, they'll take some decent sized fish.
Because, their wingspan, I've seen some before. They're 6-7 feet for their wings, right?
Yep, for sure. And it's, like I said, it's just really cool. That's one thing being in the northern part of the country. I know it's not just here in Wisconsin. Minnesota is the same way. I'm sure Michigan is the same way. You just get all this different wildlife.
Right.
And like you said earlier, when we're just sitting here, just talking to each other, and that doe and fawn walk by, and it's like, pretty cool.
And you don't see that if you're in the city somewhere.
Right.
I mean, you got to get out and experience the environment and see what's out there. I mean, and really, you're not baiting them to come in. They just walk by.
They just come across.
It's like one with nature.
Yep, exactly. That's a good way to put it. And it's just a neat thing because you just sit back and then it's like everything is all right. With all the craziness that's going on in the world right now, where we were sitting, everything is all right.
And they're not scared of our presence. Nope. We're not scared of their presence.
Yep.
I mean, everybody's content.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's just happy, and nobody's out scaring the deer. Nobody's out.
Nope, exactly.
I mean, you can't get much more relaxed than this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is about as laid back and relaxing as you can get. You can't. I don't know of another place in the world where you can go camping and have this much fun.
Exactly. All right, so the next one, let's do another one. So now we're at Lakefront Brewing.
And this is out of Milwaukee, right?
Yep, and this is their Oktoberfest.
Nice. Are you sure?
Yep, it says right on there. They got guy in lederhosen and a lady in her dendel, whatever. I apologize. I think that's what they call the dress. And they're in the blue and white.
And each one has a stein in their hand.
Each one has a stein. All right, so this one is 5.6% ABV and 17 IBUs.
Okay.
And let's see, their description was, heaps of Munich malt give our Oktoberfest its nutty, caramely flavor, while Mount Hood hops balance substantially malty body, making this a great rendition of a classic German lager. So it sounds good.
Well, again, another good write-up.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're all got the...
And, I guess the one thing is they're all referencing Oktoberfest. You know what I mean? So they kind of, that style and such, so they do have something to work with.
Yes.
But yeah, I give them credit. All these write-ups have been really good. We haven't found a clunker yet.
I mean, even the beers, they're all good. I mean, slight drink. I mean, look at what we've got. I mean, mine are within 0.5.
Yeah. And
yours are within
0.6.
0.6.
So that's crazy.
I mean, good for the way the brewers are doing it, and good for us. I mean, again, I'm not a sour guy. So
You're getting better though.
Yeah, I am trying some. You're trying. Sounds good. It's got a nice...
Wow, that's a little bit lighter in color.
That is kind of... It's not... The orange is it's more yellowish almost, isn't it?
Almost. When you're pouring it, it's definitely more of a... What you would think... It does
almost like
darken,
a Pilsner.
Yeah, it does darken a little bit in the glass. This is probably one of the lightest colored ones we've had.
Yep. Not much for aroma. Oh, that's not bad.
A little different. I'm trying to get the caramely... Well, yeah, the finish on your aftertaste is definitely there.
But it's not strong. It's not strong. It's just really...
No, it's just that you get that faint hint of it.
This one's, again, not bad.
No, I was thrown off by the color. Right. Initially, I'm not going to lie.
It's light.
It's lighter. I mean, it's still an amberish color, kind of.
On the very, very light end of the scale.
Yes. Because, I mean, you look at it, it's like a dark Pilsner color.
Yeah. I mean, of the 5 we've had so far, this is definitely the lightest. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's right between orange, amber, and yellow.
Yes.
It's way, way on the very lighter end of the spectrum. But, I mean, the flavor is
not bad.
Wow.
Like I said, I was worried when I saw the color. I was like, ugh. But it's that's not bad.
Wow, gosh, I like this one. And I don't know if it's the finish. I mean, there's something about this one. It's not. The other ones have a crisper, sharper flavor. For me, this is a little bit smoother. I don't know. That's what I'm liking. I guess a little bit more of this one.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely. I think compared to the other ones, this one has on the start. I don't think the flavor is not maybe as malty to begin with
as the other ones we've had.
But then the finish is a little better,
right?
You know what I mean? So the start is not quite as good as a couple of them, but the finish is a little better. So it's interesting.
I mean, very good. I mean, and again, if you're just a beginner craft beer drinker, I would highly recommend this one. I mean, you're not going to go wrong with this one.
Right.
Even if you've never had craft beer, if this is your first craft beer ever, I would recommend this one without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, all 5 of them we've had so far, I think a beginner to the Marzen Oktoberfest beers, any of these would be good ones for them to try.
Oh, yes. I mean,
honestly.
We haven't had a clunker yet.
No. Nope, not at all.
I mean,
and that's a good thing.
Right. I mean,
how many times can we say we haven't had a clunker in something? Well, last week we didn't, but we've had other times where it's like, ooh, that one's not very good. But these are what you would expect from an Oktoberfest.
And I think the other part that's I think interesting is you and I are like really close in how we're rating these two.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're getting the same thing out of both. We're both tasting the same thing.
Yes. And, you know, now there is another style, because these are Oktoberfest Marzen, and there is another style called Fest beer, which is like this, but they're hoppier.
Okay. All right.
So that's the difference.
All right.
And some companies like Surly out of Minneapolis area, they have a really good Fest beer.
Okay.
You know, so, but that's the main difference is the Fest beer is going to be hoppier than your Oktoberfest / Marzen. So that there's, you know, once you get used to these, you can always, there's another style that's the cousin, so to speak.
Yes.
You know, that you'd be able to try as well as to get a little different flavor to them.
Right. Yeah, this is really good. So, I mean, you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first, man.
I like this one. I think I'm going to go a 3.2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, even because the finish is good. It's a different taste. I mean, a little bit different taste than the other four, but it's still a smooth. It's not a, I guess, as they classified it here, it's not a crisp or sharp flavor. Everything is smooth from the front through the finish for me.
Okay. I'm at 2.9. Like I said, I think the initial flavor isn't quite as good as some of them. The finish is very good, but I think the whole package, it's definitely up there with them, but it's just a little different flavor to it.
Okay.
And it's like I said, this is hard because you're trying to kind of split hairs, and yeah, I just think that honestly the Lupulin and the Central Waters, I would take one of those first before this one, but I would grab this one next.
Okay, yeah, no doubt. The only thing that's weird though about us tasting the Oktoberfest, it sure doesn't feel like fall outside.
No, well, you know, it's in the mid 70s today, which is very nice. Now it's supposed to get hot again.
Another heat wave
coming through because of El Nino.
And the forest fire smoke.
And the forest fire, yes. I don't know if anybody else out there has had to deal with that. I know, like New York, I saw video from out there. They had it bad.
Right.
But I saw, again, we have air quality alerts and things like that. And I don't know, it's just kind of crazy to me when you go outside and it's just that hazy.
When you look off over the distance.
Yeah, and it looks like, what you would imagine, like seeing a mountain way out somewhere. You just kind of make it out because it's so hazy. And the one day it smelled smoky, but other than that, it really didn't smell that smoky.
It smells smoky now.
Well, that's because the campfire's going.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
In the Northwoods.
In the Northwoods.
Got a campfire going.
Exactly. Yeah, so that, getting kind of tired of
the Canadians.
Yeah.
Letting their fire.
I wish they'd get their campfire
back under control.
It's more than a campfire, and I feel bad for them because there's been a lot of land burned up.
We're getting that smoke.
And I'll be glad when that's done. So
get some weather where finally either the fall starts raining more or something where it starts to douse it a little bit.
Exactly. So that'll be a good thing.
Yes.
And like one thing, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to say, if you ever get a chance to go to the northern parts of the United States, and not just Wisconsin, but Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Wyoming, Montana, anything like that, you really need to do that. Especially, if you're in the city, just to get out and experience nature and a lot of times I think that
get out of the city.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people are kind of look at one another like, oh, you're a hick or you're a city person and blah, blah. But I think when you get out there and you just look at the stars, hear the wildlife, slow down. You know what I mean? It's
not on your phone. You're actually getting to see it in real life.
You're actually there and experiencing it. It is one of those things that you'll never forget. And always bring a craft beer.
It makes it even that much better.
That much better to sit there, hear what Mother Nature has to offer, and what craft beer has to offer.
Exactly. So that brings up another
craft beer because I'm getting thirsty.
This is a local one.
So this is look, it's another Oktoberfest.
Yes.
This one is by Hillsboro Brewing. And we've been to Hillsboro Brewing a couple of times.
Yes.
And the first time we were there, they were in an old, I don't know what the building was. Remember, it was on the corner.
Because Hillsboro's how big?
Not very big. And
few hundred people,
probably, I'm guessing. Right. But they were like on a corner.
Right.
In this building right on the corner, right in town, and really small. It had good food, but it was small.
Yes.
Well, and then they bought, and I don't know what the building was
An
before.
old creamery.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's way big. I mean, it's huge now.
And it's actually 2 floors.
2 floors. On the upstairs floor, they have like wedding receptions
Yes.
and all that. I'm still waiting for us to get invited to a wedding.
Because it looks almost like if you're from Milwaukee or you're in some of those old warehouses.
Yes.
It's that kind of huge building. They don't like their tap room and stuff doesn't fill up the whole thing. But I mean, it just looks massive.
It looks massive, and they have a lot of beers on tap.
Yes.
I was when we went there, just looking at, because we at our local bottle shops and stuff, they've got however many where they can them
Right.
and such, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's good. And then when we went there, their beer menu was big, and we're looking at going, haven't had that, never heard of that.
So your flight, you can get a nice flight.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they've had a number of different dark beers, all sorts of different styles.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, if you're ever in the Hillsboro, Wisconsin area, you should check it out, because it's night and day compared to what it was.
Yes.
So let's see.
What do we got here?
So this is their Friday Night Lights Marzen.
Okay.
And it's 5.6% ABV and 17 IBUs. So the same as what
Kind of right in
was.
the. I think even that Lupulin that said 30. I think that was probably in this morning's too. If
It could have been, because that didn't taste any hoppier.
No.
Okay. So let's see. Their write-up says, bright, crisp, and clear amber. Our Oktoberfest is a hallmark of fall, just like Friday nights in the fall here in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So let's...
Not wordy.
No, but again,
Right to the point.
They really didn't play off of the Oktoberfest.
Right.
The German.
Their can looks a little different. It's got the fall color.
It's got the fall colors, like an orange and kind of a muted red. And it's got them in the middle. It has their logo, which is the state of Wisconsin outline. It's got like lions.
Yep,
I think they're lions. Some kind of critters.
There you go.
On each side.
Don't want to find that in the woods.
Yeah, Hillsboro Brewing Company, Friday Night Lights, Marzen style lager, and that they were established in 2012.
Much darker than that last one we had.
Yeah,
Still,
but it's
still orangish.
It's still not as dark as was it the Central Waters, or was it the Hop and Barrel? Remember, a couple of those first two were darker.
Yes,
but this is more this is what I would think of when you think Oktoberfest color.
Yep,
this one smells hot or maltier.
Yes, it's got a malty smell.
It's got a little different flavor to it.
Yeah, it's more malty, isn't it? It's not as hoppy. It's more malty.
Yeah, it's more malty, but it's like a stronger malt flavor.
Is that a roasted malt?
It's got to be. It's got to be roasted, because there is definitely
It's different than the other five.
I was going to say not bitter, but you definitely can taste it.
Yes.
I don't know how we should describe that, but it's definitely there. That's not. I don't mind
bad.
it. I don't mind it. I'm trying to think of what to compare that flavor to.
Yeah, I think it has more malt than the other five.
Yeah,
total. They went more for a malty cut on it than the other ones went for the...
Well, yeah, I'd agree with you. It is I don't know how to describe it, Jim, because it's not a bitter, but there's something in that initial malt.
Strong. It's really strong.
There's something in there
very
too.
Front, but then it goes away.
It goes away. There's not a lingering flavor to it, but that initial, there's something in that malt that you're just kind of like, it confuses me.
You know it's there.
Yes.
You know it's there, but then it goes away really quick. I mean, it does not stay in your mouth at all. It finishes really quick.
No. Interesting. This one, I think, is one of those where it does have a little more of an outlier flavor than the other ones, which is not a bad thing. But like I said, to me, that malt, whatever's in that malt, like I said, it's not bitter, but there's something in that, like I said, it kind of confuses my taste buds a little bit. I don't know how to describe what that is.
So do you want to go first?
Yeah. Let me take another taste here.
Because it's different. It's something.
I'm going like a 2.7.
2.7.
Yeah. It's just, like I said, that whatever that is in the initial thing, it just kind of throws me off.
Yeah, I mean, it's different than the other five that we've had.
Yes.
There's no doubt. So it's not bad. It's not, but I don't know, like we talked before, I don't know if I could drink a couple of these. I think this glass might be all I could drink of this beer, which for me then kind of puts it down a little bit because it's not bad, but I just don't know if I could drink more than just this glass of it. So I think I'm actually going to go down like a 2.6.
Yep. I agree. Honestly, when you said I agree with you, would I drink another one? Yeah, I would drink another one, but it wouldn't be my first choice.
Right. Yes.
It's just, like I said, whatever that there's something in that initial taste that it just is different.
And the other hard part too, I like to do a little bit of research for us beforehand.
Yep.
And what you're reading out for the audience is all that I could find for each of these beers.
Yep.
So it's not like I could dig up any more information to tell you what were the ingredients or how they did it.
Right.
I mean, some of the other beers, they really elaborate and really go into detail.
Yep.
But I think Oktoberfest, I'm not saying Oktoberfest are bad beers, but I think in general, they're probably more in the middle of the road.
Yes.
Is that
yes, I would agree 100% with you. Because like I said, we've had a lot of Oktoberfest beers, and they all kind of hover a few this way or a few that way from like the center. 3, 2.5 to 3, probably I bet you if we went back and looked, we've got who knows how many from a 2.5 to a 3.0.
Right.
And if it's really good, you have a 3.1 or a 3.2. This is about probably as high as we've ever went.
Which is not saying they're bad.
Nope. But we know when you're going into an Oktoberfest, we kind of know what you're to expect.
Right.
So it's like I said, considering that this is our Augustoberfest beer tasting, it's good to get back into these, Right,
because the other thing, so these are lagers.
Yep.
So you already kind of know what that's going to be, and it's not the big box brand beers that, that they're all really similar. You could drink a case and not even have a flavor. So these, you're going to get a little bit of a flavor, but it's not over the top flavor.
Correct.
It's not like the bourbon barrel ones that we like. It's a nice flavor, and I think sitting around a campfire like you got going right now, these would be the perfect. Any one of these beers, you could sit in your lawn chair,
you could sit there
and enjoy it.
Yep. Sit there, look at the fire, drink your beer, and not think about anything else, and we'd be totally content.
Yes, and all these. Kudos to all these beers.
Exactly. There's not a beer that we had that is on the bad scale at all.
With that, we got one or two ways we can go from here.
Okay.
So we've tried 6.
Yep.
And I did find
I saw that bottle sitting over there. What?
So this is that another? It's not a Marzen.
Okay.
However, doing a little checking, it looks like, and this is a Sam Adams.
Okay.
It's called Jack O Pumpkin Ale.
So pumpkin beer, which, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, we had dug through our beer fridges and found pumpkin beers earlier on.
Yep.
So those had been sitting there for a while.
The veneration was...
Yes, the barrel aged one was amazing.
Yes.
But so this is the first fresh pumpkin beer, we'll say, that we've had so far. Because we had talked about doing another one. So
the challenge that I brought it out.
Yep.
It is not a Marzen.
Yep.
So it's not...
Well...
It is not a Marzen that would per se, but I think it's a fall beer.
Correct.
So I thought I'd bring it.
Yep. Oh yeah,
so we can try it.
Yep.
And I don't know if you want to rate it.
Let's do this.
With each other. Let's do this.
Let's give our top 2 Marzens.
Okay.
And then this one, we will score this one, but we're gonna just kind of do it on its own because it's not it's not fair to them. It's not fair to that.
Yep. Makes sense. That's why I thought I'd bring it out.
Yep.
But I thought it'd be worth trying.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm all about trying. No question there.
And I think here's the other part we got to tell the audience too. You give out a card for everybody that can only drink a craft beer, and it can't be advertised.
That's one of our mottos here at the bar here at our camper. We call it the Upper Crust Cantina, and we have membership cards. And one of the the one motto is, if you've seen it on a commercial, we don't drink it.
Right.
Now, I've seen Sam Adams on a commercial, and we will drink Sam Adams. I've seen Leinenkugel. But for the most part, the beers, probably 99.9% of the beers we drink, you don't ever see them on a commercial.
Right. And I think if you see it on a commercial, it's the brewer, not these individual.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Right. So,
yes.
So I thought I knew I was tiptoeing in that gray area with the Leinenkugels and with the Sam Adams.
Oh, no. That's...
I think it gives a little bit of good comparison to try.
Yep.
That was just my thought.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it up here. I could be totally off base. I could be.
Not a problem.
You can tell me if I'm wrong.
I agree with you. So, Jim, why don't you start? What were your top 2, do you think?
All right.
If somebody said you can grab 2 of these, which 2 would it have been?
I would take my number 1 would be the Lakefront.
Okay.
and the Central Waters.
Okay.
And I think I'm going against what I always tell everybody about flavor.
Okay.
So these were not the most flavorful, but I think they had the best combination of flavor.
Sure.
For me. Yep. So I usually like a lot more flavor, but I think for this Marzen style, I liked a little bit less, but I think in the long run, I could drink a couple of beers around a fire.
Okay.
The other ones, I may not be able to drink a couple of cans.
Sure. Okay. For me, my number one, and again, it was just splitting hairs. My top two was the Lupulin and the Central Waters.
Okay.
The Central Waters was a more mellow flavor. Right. The Lupulin had a little bit more flavor at part of it, on the finish and such. So yeah, those are the two that I would say.
All right.
And good. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear this, but our neighbor across the way is singing. So I don't think she's serenading us, but she's singing. So she's happy. See, all is right with the world when you come to the Northwoods. So yeah, let's crack it. So what did they say about this? So this is the Sam Adams Jack O Pumpkin Ale.
Yes, and from what I found, it looks like this time of year they come out with a beer fest variety pack.
Okay.
So it looks like there's 4 different beers.
So it's like a 12 pack and you get 3. Yep. Okay.
3 of each. So we got this one, the Jack O Pumpkin Ale. Then you can get an Oktoberfest, which I didn't find. That's the one I was actually looking for.
We've had that one before, but we find it. We'll try. We'll rate it against other Oktoberfest too. Oh, listen, you hear the loons?
It's flying overhead.
Yep. Okay, continue.
And then the next one that I think would be perfect is the Flannel Fest.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. It looked interesting.
We're going to look that up because we're going to have to find this.
The can looks like it's in flannel.
Yep. If we can find this 12 pack, we're gonna get it.
Yep. Oh wait, it says a Munich Dunkel.
Oh, there you go. Nice. That'll be all right.
And then the last one is a hoppy lager. It looks like a dill pickle.
Yes. So speaking of that, off topic for a second, Jim. Labor Day. Okay. I'm going to bring up a number of pickle beers, and we're going to try them in Bloody Marys.
Oh,
because I had brought one up before 4th of July, and I tried it in a Bloody Mary, and it was really good.
Really?
Yes. Now, at our local bottle shop, the beer shop, I got to get there because I saw they have Distil, they have the Sucker Punch pickle. Well, now they have one that's a spicy pickle. Whoa. From the same place.
Wow.
And I saw that there's another brew, I think it was Oliphant, had a pickle beer. So I want to pick up a can of each of those to bring up so we can try. We'll have like
a little taster
4 or 5 different pickle beers, which again,
you can't drink it alone. You got to mix it with something.
It just blows my mind that pickle beer is like a big thing now. But like I said, I'm not lying to you at all. When I mixed it in with a Bloody Mary, it was amazing.
Drinking it alone probably sucks a little bit.
Drinking it alone, I've done it. It's different.
It's challenging.
It's challenging. But I'm really interested to see that spicy pickle and to see how that is. Because it could be, hopefully it's not like stupid spicy.
Right.
So
I don't think many of them, I think they're all, it's probably just got a little bite at the beginning.
That's what I would bet. It's probably like the pickles you can get at the gas station.
Yes.
That whatever brand they are, where they got the spicy ones.
Yes.
They're a little bit spicy. But
nothing, no ghost pepper.
No, unfortunately. All right,
here we go.
So here we go. We're going to crack.
This is our last beer for the this category.
Pumpkin Ale by Sam Adams.
And we've had some squash before,
and
that was not.
That smells like pumpkin.
That squash. This isn't the pumpkin a squash.
Yes, but it's the better cousin of the squash.
not the one we've had.
The icky one that we had.
Yeah, that was.
And it is funny because people are always like, "Was that squash beer that bad?" It was definitely not my favorite.
That was a tough one to choke down.
We are not sure what Heather.
Yes, we are still trying to figure out what Heather tastes like.
Yeah.
We have dreams about Heather at night.
Boy, this one you can smell.
You can smell
cinnamon.
Yeah,
like the pumpkin.
Yes.
Did you read the?
No, I did not.
Okay, it's Jack O. I have it here. Jack O Pumpkin Ale balances cinnamon and nutmeg aromas with hints of autumn spices and a crisp, refreshing finish. Throw on your Halloween costume, crack one open, and enjoy the flavors of the season. And boy, you can smell the cinnamon, the nutmeg.
Yep.
I get that for sure.
Yes, right up before you even taste it.
Oh, yeah.
And it says 8 IBUs.
And it's 4.4. Wow, that tastes pretty good.
Wow.
Did you bring another one of those or no? We're going to have to get that 12 pack.
So again, I want to just reiterate, all 7 of these were to build your own 6-pack.
Yep. And
so I couldn't even buy a 12-pack even if I wanted any of these because these are all individual, even the Sam Adams one, which is surprising.
But I think a lot of times like these, they do a lot more like that, the Beer Fest, that 12 pack that you have a picture of here. I think they do a lot more of those. with some of these flavors, because I think, they're not sure how it's going to go over at times.
Right.
I like this. This has got good flavor to it. And yeah, we're going to have to find that Beer Fest 12 pack.
And the finish is not,
no.
You got, it's like the blast of flavors initially, and then as soon as you swallow it, it seems like it takes the flavor right away.
This tastes, I'm not going to say it tastes just like pumpkin pie, but it's real close.
So what you're saying,
that pumpkin spice flavor, that is really good. I like that.
So what you're saying is this may have beat our previous competitors.
This is probably going to, for me, it's probably going to score higher than the Marzens did.
Yeah, this is, but I think we're also tasting different things. There's no cinnamon in the previous ones.
That's the sad part. That's why I said I didn't think we should have rated this with those, because they're two totally different.
It's an ale, it's a little spice. The spices that they've crafted really good. This is a good beer.
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
It's not bourbon barrel good beer.
No,
but
this is definitely
for a fall beer.
And again, we will do another a fresh pumpkin beer, podcast. And the fact that this, you found it now, so they're starting to come out too.
Yes.
So that'll be good. So it'll be coming up. But yeah, this is good.
This is,
it's not, again, like you said, the barrel aged one we had, that one was probably the best pumpkin beer I've ever had.
Right.
This is not that, but this is definitely a very solid.
This
very
is
good
really,
flavor.
really good. There's
a little bit of a sweetness to it. You can taste the cinnamon and nutmeg. Well, just the pumpkin spice.
Right.
It tastes like pumpkin spice.
And again, I don't know if it matters, but I guess just to tell everybody, when we started the podcast for this category, we had all the beer sitting out. So these are all probably air temperature.
Right.
So they've warmed up a little bit. So I really think that brings more of the flavor out.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Granted, you want a cold beer. Sometimes you want an ice cold beer. We had a couple before we started the podcast, but some of these, I think the flavors come out a little better by letting it warm up
just a little bit. And
I don't know what your thoughts are.
I agree with you. And usually the ones you want to let warm up are the barrel aged, the big beers.
Right.
You want those to warm up. But I think this one benefited from warming up as well.
Because you can taste everything that they say that's on this label is you can taste it.
Big time. You can taste it.
And it's not like it lingers.
Nope.
You taste it, and then you swallow and it goes away.
Yep. Boy. What do you give this for stars, Jim? This is...
Wow, you're going to put me on the spot.
I'm putting you on the spot.
So
you can forget the ones up here. We don't have to worry about that.
I'm trying to put a blinder onto the Marzens and take this one for what it is as a pumpkin beer this ale. I'm going to say 3.5.
It's funny you say that, because that's exactly where I was going to go.
Were you? Are you coming in the same place?
I thought, boy, I hope I'm not overshooting it. And yeah, no, I think it's 3.5. It's very good.
And for me, I'm not comparing it. I'm giving it a score by itself.
Yep.
Not against the Marzens.
Exactly. That's why I said we couldn't. If we'd have grouped this in with the Marzens, this would have been number one by far.
Yes.
Honestly. That's why it's not fair.
But I thought it was good to bring it in so that everybody, if people are out in their liquor stores or wherever, I think it's I'd buy it.
Well, and again, it's the middle of August, getting to the later part of August. I get, 18th, whatever it is. Right. It's just, honestly, this entire podcast here, getting into the Oktoberfest and then this pumpkin beer, it was just like, oh, this is what's coming.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's getting me excited for what's coming up. So
the change in seasons and seeing more varieties of these. And again, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we will have more, probably at least another Marzen, and we'll have another for sure pumpkin podcast. And like I said, it's just, I know, and pumpkin is one of those things that people love it or hate it, but if you've never tried, you need to try it. Yes.
And this one here would be a good one for people to try, because it's got really good flavor, and
it's not like sharp or crisp. It's not over it's going to punch you in the face. Mm-hmm. It's got the right balance of flavor, but you can taste it. it's very good. Well crafted.
Like I said, this is real close to liquid pumpkin pie.
Yes,
really. So Sam Adams, you did a great job. I'm impressed.
Yes.
So like I said, again, we got to look for that Beer Fest 12 pack.
Yes.
Try the other ones. If they're like this, it'll be good.
That'll be really good.
So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, hey, Jim, thank you for joining me here in the Northwoods, and we will probably be doing another one or two up here while we're here, and I think we need to get over and check and see if our campfire is warm, and
Well, thanks for inviting me up here. Thanks for bringing. So I thought I better bring some beer since you invited me up.
Sure. Well, that's the good thing. You need to always have a friend that will bring craft beer when you invite them places. So thank you, Jim.
Yes, anytime, buddy.
So, like we always say, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that your campfires are warm and your beer is always cold.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Northwoods Beer Guy podcast. If you have a question, a comment, or a beer you'd like us to review, please feel free to send us a message at northwoodsbeerguy@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're on Untappd, look up Northwoods Beer Guy and send a friend request. Until next week, I hope all your campfires are warm and all your beer is cold.